With the aggregate supply and demand model, which is one of the most important models in macroeconomics, you need to be able to play with the graph and understand why equilibrium happens. This will be a quick tutorial about moving the aggregate demand curve and what happens next. So we'll start from equilibrium at P1 and Q1. That's the price level and the output level that the economy comes to rest at under these conditions. But because the economy is a dynamic place, something's probably going to change. Let's see what happens. So let's say you have something that destroys consumer spending, like a housing bubble that bursts and property values are declining, or a large increase in interest rate that makes borrowing really expensive, and so people can't afford those new car loans or those new mortgages. What's going to happen? You guessed it. Aggregate demand shifts to the left. Consumers are buying less at every price level, and you've got the consumption part, and perhaps the business spending part also of aggregate demand is going to drop. To understand how the economy finds its new equilibrium, we need to forget all about the first aggregate demand curve. It doesn't really exist anymore. Well, in the real world, this messy adjustment takes a little bit of time. You'll notice that P1 and Q1 are no longer where the economy wants to be. In fact, at that price level, P1, considering that everybody's buying a lot less than before, you're going to find that businesses are not able to sell their stuff, it's stacking up on the shelves, and there will be pressure for businesses to lower their prices all over the place. So across the economy, we'd expect there to be downward pressure on the price level. And sure enough, if you take a look at Q1 and QD, the orange and the gray quantities, at the price level of P1, there is Q1 supplied and QD demanded. There is going to be a surplus of goods. So we do expect there to be downward pressure on the price, and the economy should start to move back to its new equilibrium. Naturally, as price drops, we'll pick up some sales, and also prices dropping and firms are producing a little bit less. So we end up at a quantity that both sides agree on, the right quantity, the aggregate output that's appropriate for this economy, considering the level of spending that households have now. And then because everybody's spending less, we expect the price to drop as well. Similar adjustments can be worked for an increase in aggregate demand, a decrease in short-run aggregate supply, or an increase in short-run aggregate supply. You'll find that the old price doesn't work anymore, and firms have to adjust their prices and output to match what's going on in the economy. There you have it, the magic of capitalism. Markets clear by themselves.